Hey, this is Clark from 5 Card Guys. A quick note before we start today's episode. We talked extensively about the Bowman Chrome duplicate Superfractors issue a day before Topps came out with the announcement of its Bowman Chrome buyback program. So we promise we'll cover it on our upcoming Friday episode. But in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed the episode where we kind of suggested they should offer some kind of buyback program, which makes me wonder if Topps is somehow able to hear our recording sessions before we even publish our episodes. Well, if that's the case, I love Topps products and I'm open to breaking product if you send them our way. And of course, we'll give them away for free. Okay, without further ado then, hope you enjoy today's show. You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 163, and my name is Clark from 5 Card Guys on Instagram and 5cardguys.com. Co-hosting with me as usual is Hyung of Integrity Sports Cards and John, who is Trade You at Recess. All right, off the top today, big trade news in the NBA. Of course, I'm talking about Damian Lillard, who we've talked about on this podcast before, and the context of which is whether Lillard can get any hobby love playing in Portland, right? Well, now he's going to Milwaukee, and of course, the big thing is he gets to play for a contender, and more importantly, arguably, he plays with a player named Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, question for you guys. Does this change in scenery for Lillard help his card values or not really? What do you guys think?
I think it does, actually. I think it's massive news, obviously. It's unfortunate. I think Milwaukee lost a massive piece in Drew Holiday. Yeah. And I think it's trading that, defensive piece for more of an offensive piece. But I think it serves multiple purposes too. I think it keeps Giannis happy. Milwaukee's doing something, but I don't know so much in terms of, I guess, immediate value, because Milwaukee's still a small market team. We've all also seen pricing with Giannis cards struggle. I don't know whether it's a center thing or like a big man kind of thing, right, or a small market issue with that. But I think overall, because it's in the spotlight right now, I think you're going to see definitely a bump in price, because Lillard's price was actually at peak pretty high during the big bump, the COVID bump. And I think some of his price retracted, a lot. And his cards come from that, popular 2012 Prizm set that, that we always talk about on the pod, in previous pods, how, classic that set is, with that. And I know Slab Stocks, posted something about a gold selling for about $12K. So that card, it was a gold, Prizm out of 10, PSA 10, sold for, I believe $12K, recently, but at the peak, it was something like $65K. Right. So the question was that a good buy now, that you see it? But I also think that we can't compare pricing to a couple years ago, and be realistic with it, whether it's, going to really impact his card prices. I think, it's all set for it. But like I said, you're going from a small market team to probably technically a smaller market team. Sure. Because I guarantee you Milwaukee's viewership isn't as, even strong as Portland. I guarantee you they're probably lower tier in the NBA in terms of viewership anyways, right? But I think from a standpoint where Milwaukee was a pretty incredible team, unfortunately they, lost first round in the playoffs. I think part of that, is you got to do something about that. And I think Lillard was a huge pickup regardless. I don't know whether, given that piece, the Drew Holiday piece, is going to hurt them. But, you had Chris Middleton, who wasn't, in the lineup, so you're kind of getting that defensive bump anyways. So I think it's a great move for Milwaukee overall. I think, it's exciting, and, they're going to be very good, man. Like, at the end of the day, it's going to be a contender again, if not a top 3 team in the NBA, right? So I think with that said, there's a lot of limelight, and, Lillard's been a beast, no doubt. Like, this guy, finished 3rd in scoring last year, averaging over 32 points a game, which is pretty crazy. So
elite.
It is definitely elite. So I think his prices, and we said this before on the pod, I think his prices were always underrated. He was just an underrated player because he gets no love, in Portland. Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to directly impact, but I think being on Milwaukee overall might be better than being on Portland.
Yeah. Contender for sure. And, when you said that, I think I saw that Slapstocks, it might have been 18K, but regardless, the point is that it's come down from 65K.
Which is crazy, yeah.
And I was going to use that as a pick one, but I'm going to think of something else.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. I got another one. Don't worry.
Back up. Smart.
So, Johnny, what do you think?
Oh, man. First of all, Toronto fans were teased with the idea that Lillard might come to Toronto. And I'm sure anyone listening that is not from the Toronto area is calling us delusional Raptors fans, which is fair.
Yeah.
But Lillard going to the Bucks, 100%. This is going to spike his value. I think for me, if you have Damian Lillard cards, unless you're like the most hardcore Lillard fan, I would probably take advantage right now. This is this is one of the spikes that I believe you should take advantage. The next one would be if the Bucks are the number 1 contenders coming down the playoff stretch, and maybe they're into the playoffs and starting to dominate. I think that would be the next bigger bump. But for sure, preseason, big trade, going to a team that's now heavily favored to win it all. I mean, the stars are aligning for Lillard's value.
Yeah.
So take advantage while you can. There's some hot takes out there that say that the Bucks have actually gotten worse.
I've heard
Young mentioned how important Drew Holiday and the defensive
100%
presence is.
I could see that.
Yeah. So I could 100% see that. But on the flip side, the Bucks, aside from having Giannis, who's, one of the best players in the league, I feel like the Bucks had a lot of issues, kind of similar to Toronto, where they can make the playoffs, but they don't. And that's the problem with Giannis. And I think one of the reasons why Giannis is not in the echelon of like Luka value is because he just doesn't. The sex appeal to a lot of these basketball players is their ability to close in the clutch, right? Guys who are able to hit monster shots with the time clicking down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Giannis is just not one of those players. And I think the Bucks have been missing that. They have it in, I personally think they kind of have it in Chris Middleton, but he's been injured a lot during their playoffs runs, which kind of was unfortunate, but they have that now, which makes the Bucks extremely dangerous. So it goes both ways. I can understand the Drew argument. But on the flip side, they have their deadly closer, which I think they were sorely lacking. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, like at the buzzer, the Euro step isn't as sexy as a 3-point dagger at the end of a game, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is a hot take, but on the Bucks, Lillard's always going to be number 2, right? Like it's Giannis's team, right? Is that a hot take? Giannis is just.
I think there's room for
1A, 1B?
I think they complement each other. I think enough where there's enough room for both. Where maybe the VC T-Mac wouldn't be so much, right? So it's like I feel like they're two different players that will complement each other pretty well.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah. The team, maybe T-Mac and Yao Ming kind of thing.
Yeah.
where you got the dominant,
Right.
post presence, and then with 60 seconds ago or 2 minutes ago, you start needing like some big time buckets.
Yeah.
You got Damian Lillard, right?
Yeah, sure. I guess it's your perspective. Like, I still see it as it's Giannis's team. So if I have that perspective, then Lillard, there's definitely hype now, and I would imagine there's going to be some spike or some action in the pricing, but I think it's going to come down. And Hyung, you mentioned it already. It is a small market team. And, I think Milwaukee might get more viewers because of Giannis. Like, people just like watching Giannis play. I'm sure it will definitely be more exciting to watch the Bucks now with Lillard on, for sure. But it goes back to our original question when we asked about Lillard's value in the hobby. Like, I'm not totally confident that there's going to be more hobby love. He might be one of those players that just can't get it for whatever reason, although he's deservedly an elite player in the league. So we'll see. I think he's got to win a championship, to tell you the truth, for a real significant movement in pricing. And that's not a given.
I will say this, Clark, though. Like, you got to remember, we said this before too. In 2012, print runs are very, very different. So people start hoarding the golds and stuff. So you don't see, colors that much. Probably just refractors and golds, right? And then on top of that, the refractors were super, super low print compared to what they print, nowadays, right? So I think these stars that are, reaching kind of like their mid to kind of like the later end of their career, where they've established themselves. We talk about this in baseball all the time. These are the guys, the Mookie Betts type of players that have great trajectory still. And I think Lillard and 2012 Prizm in general can create a great long-term investment in terms of just supply and demand, right?
Sure. I can see that. Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess we'll see. I'm a Dame fan in general. Like, I love watching Dame play. So,
me too.
My critique is more on the hobby. The hobby's got to wake up and give Dame his flowers, and hopefully his card values go up because of this trade. We'll see how the Bucks do in this coming season. I'm sure they'll finish high, and then we'll come back to this discussion in terms of Dame's card value later on. Okay, let's move on now to hobby headlines. So we talked about the whole duplicate superfractors of Victor Tourist last episode, if you guys remember, found in this year's Bowman Chrome baseball set. Well, since then, duplicate superfractors of 3 more players have surfaced.
It's crazy.
And that includes Joshua DePaula of the Dodgers, top prospect there, Justin Crawford of the Phillies, and Jackson Merrill of the San Diego Padres. So
I heard there was one more. I don't know who the player is, but somebody said now it's 5+.
Okay, this is to my point. That it's that
at this point you have to assume 2 sheets got printed,
right.
And they're just out there. Like, I don't know how many of those, like 100 players or something crazy.
That is crazy indeed. But so far, none of them were autos. So none of all these duplicate superfractors are the non-auto versions of the card. And to date, I don't believe any of the retrofractor superfractors have seen any doubles appear as well. But, that doesn't mean there aren't any. By the time we release this podcast and record the next one, things could change, certainly, right? So I had a few questions for the segment, and, I want to get your thoughts on them. First, what do you think this does to the value of the hobby and jumbo boxes of 2023 Bowman Chrome? Because I asked this because if there are more duplicate superfractors in the set, right, does it devalue it because the superfractor hits won't be as valuable if there's more than one, right? Or you could think about it the other way. Does it actually increase it because, hey, you got 2 chances to hit a superfractor? What do you guys think?
Loaded boxes.
Loaded. Yeah.
One, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but I don't think it's such a big deal. Like, to be honest, like, it's like, I see the comments and I get it. People are pissed. People are just like, F Fanatics, Topps brutal. Like, this is the worst thing ever. And then Bowman Chrome will be sold out. And then, you know, it's like, it's typical hobby bickering. You know, everybody makes it a big deal that it is what it is. Like, it won't change people from breaking. It's not going to change people from, you know, still pursuing their collection. And it's just, like I said, 5 is surfacing. And yes, Topps and Fanatics have to figure their stuff out. Like, I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying, are we making it a bigger issue than it actually is? People will be like, well, of course it's a big issue. Why would I spend my money on blah, 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 blah? It's like, then don't spend your money, right?
Right.
You're still going to collect who you're going to collect. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's probably not even going to affect you. It affected 5 people. 5. Maybe 4. It affected 4 people.
Right.
Yet 1 million people are so butthurt, right? Because, and they just throw this, you know, hate on Fanatics and Panini or Topps. Rightfully so. I'm not saying that, like, that's what you get for playing in that game. I'm just saying, I'm not bothered by it. Really? Like, I'm really not bothered by it. I have a Superfractor of Bo Naylor. I like that. There's not a duplicate. And it doesn't affect me. I haven't pulled a Caesar or Victor Sturis. I was going to call him Caesar Sturis. Victor Sturis. You know, I wasn't affected by it. So therefore, I don't really care. That's my take. And I know a lot of people will disagree with me because it's the hard-earned money we earn and spend it in the hobby. Yet, you know, we're affected by it somehow. So that's my take on it. I know it's not the popular opinion, but yeah, that's
Hyung, I forgot to tell you, but I also have a Bo Naylor Superfractor.
Now you're full of crap. Maybe it's Bowman Sterling. This is pre-COVID. I'm safe.
Yeah, no, I get your point though. It's probably blown a little bit out of proportion, but yeah, it's still fun to talk about. John?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, first of all, it makes sense that there's no duplicates of the auto because the kids who are signing it, they're probably asking, why am I signing 2 Superfractors? So, so logically, that part makes sense.
Good point.
I'm with Hyung. I mentioned that it's a big mistake, and I think this is something that needs to be addressed. I think it's a big mistake. But as a hobbyist, I'm not that bothered by it. If the 3 of us were opening Bowman, I'd actually be kind of happy because
you had a super.
I have a better, you know, I went from having absolutely no chance at a Superfract to maybe having a slightly better chance, right? So it does make the rip a little bit more fun. I get it makes no sense for a Superfractor to have 2. I'm with people saying that. I think it's a big mistake. Yeah. But as a pure hobbyist, I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's kind of fun. It's a stupid mistake, but it doesn't bother me enough that I would hate on Topps or I would hate on the situation or make me think that Bowman Chrome is an absolutely crap product. I will say, I feel like in the last 12 months, there have been such a focus on Bowman Chrome first for, you know,
sure.
I think maybe the whole Julio rookie card thing, you know, like the Topps flagship is, I don't hear about that often anymore. And I think everybody is attacking Bowman first. And not only Bowman first, they're attacking Bowman first autos. Like before the Bowman first, you know, base and then the auto, it was a big difference. But now it's like, if you don't have the auto, like get that card out of my face. I feel like that's kind of what's happening. So this might even just put more emphasis and more spotlight onto a Bowman Chrome first auto over the base card with no auto, right? So I don't know. Would it might, going back to your fun first question, it actually might increase the value of the boxes because, you know, technically, you know, if you hit the Superfractor, it might not be worth as much, but you know, if technically they are loaded boxes.
If you're thinking, if you join a break and you hit that Superfractor, that second Superfractor, and there's a Superfractor bounty out, because a lot of people have Superfractor bounties, like in breaks. If you join a break,
Right.
and you hit Superfractor, it's a progressive.
Fanatics has one right now.
It's a progressive. So if
Right.
like in this break, nobody hits it, they increase it by $100 or whatever it is. And
Right.
sometimes these
Right.
Superfractor bounties get into the thousands. So think, you pull a duplicate Superfractor, right? You win $4,000 plus the card. You gonna be pissed off? You gonna be mad it's a duplicate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if those breakers would renege though. It's like, hey, whoa. There's
Yeah, it's
two
a
of them out
duplicate.
there.
It doesn't count.
Yeah.
This one. Well, I mean, you know what? I'm gonna hate on it so that the boxes of Bowman Chrome will hopefully go down in
They're
price.
not.
So then I could buy more. So damn you, Bowman Chrome. Why you gotta ruin my life? Yeah, no, I mean, I think it'll be fun. Like I'm we haven't even talked about this amongst ourselves, like whether we're gonna rip Bowman Chrome. I think it's like $400 though. So it's kind of pricey compared to last.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, like 2022 and even 2021, and those have come down in price over the last few months now, right? I guess it really depends on the type of hits in the set, but if it goes down for whatever reason, I'm looking to rip one open. It'll be a fun rip, I think. Still,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I guess we haven't seen the Refractor Superfractor if that's a duplicate. But I wonder what David Adams will do. They have a 200K bounty on that, and if there's a duplicate one of that, do they have to honor both or what?
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that one. Yeah.
Well,
get their
speaking
lawyers
of
on.
Yeah. Speaking of the Superfractor, like, what do you think the value of the Superfractor card would be itself? Like, if you know that there's a duplicate.
I think the value goes down, to be honest.
Right.
It should.
Yeah.
Think of like one of the studs. You get one of the studs and there's two of them.
Ethan Salas.
I wonder what Topps would do or Fanatics would do in that.
I have to assume Topps is wanting to destroy one of the pairs, right? So they're gonna have to reach out to both owners and see who takes the bait or who's willing to take the exchange.
Put him in a
right?
boxing ring and
so many creative ways to settle this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, like one of our listeners suggested. Yeah, well, I mean, to that point, I don't think Topps has released a statement yet about any of these duplicate Superfractors, but that was my question. I guess we just answered it. What do you think they should do? Do you think they should rectify or just leave it out there? Say, hey, our bad. There's going to be a few Superfractors that have two copies, two of ones, so to speak.
I think they need to rectify the situation. I think let everybody know what happened, why it happened, and how they're gonna move forward with stuff like this. I think it's more of a trust thing, a customer loyalty thing, and it's kind of expected as being the leader in the industry to make good out of this situation, right?
Yeah.
So whether it's offering other credits to the person who wants to accept the offer or whatever it is, so that and I'm sure Fanatics has enough leverage to make it worthwhile for someone to give up a Victor Sturis Superfractor, right? So most people would probably be happy to hit the Superfractor bounty, to be honest, as opposed to the actual card, because that might be worth less. It might be a $500 Superfractor, right?
Yeah, true.
Now, what if they make an offer to both owners and both owners like the offer and want to take it? I guess does Topps take in both Superfractors? And then what happens to the distribution of one of them?
You destroy one and then redistribute it if both take the offer.
You know what? They should destroy both.
They destroy both. It doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Destroy both.
Destroy both. Gone from existence. Yeah.
Especially if they become a player.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Man.
Then the red will be very valuable.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like the Juan Soto story, right? The Juan Soto Superfractor.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Do you guys know what happened to it? Because I know it got decommissioned, but who has it?
I'm not sure.
Topps has it?
We should do a documentary on it.
BGS. I know.
Let's
track it down
because technically it's still an authentic card, and I'm sure somebody would want it if it just said authentic on it, authentic altered.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, who wouldn't want that card? It should still be out there somewhere in the.
I feel like they
stratosphere.
decommissioned it somehow, or it got destroyed. I'm guessing. I would be shocked if I saw like that resurface somewhere. Like shocked. Right. It would be a fake, I would think, right away. But that's why the red's so valuable, right? And that could be the case here. Okay. Well, we'll see. We're still waiting for Topps or Fanatics to make a statement, but if they do, we'll bring it up in our next podcast episode. Okay, let's move on to our next segment we call Buy, Sell, Hold. All right, we haven't done this in a while, but just as a refresher for you guys and for our listeners, I'm going to give you, Hyung and John, a list of cards, and you tell me if you would buy this card or buy more of this card. Sell it if you have it, or you would just hold. Okay? So I'm going to begin with basketball. We already talked about these guys. Damian Lillard. Okay? His 2012, we talked about that year, but I'm going to choose Select because I believe there's a Silver Prizm version of the Select. And it sold pretty much all year for $650, PSA 10, I believe, right? But in 2021, it sold for $5,000. So Scott, it was sold for $5,000 a couple of years ago, but all this year it's been about $650, and the pop count is 33.
100% a buy. Hold. 100% a buy.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That was quick.
100% a buy. $650, pop 33. 100% a
low
buy.
Pop count.
100% a buy. $650. Wait, doesn't matter.
Hang on. So it was $650 and it hasn't gone up?
It's fluctuated around that mark. Some
What's
700, some 600.
What was the peak?
Well, I mean, it's pop 33, so I assume none have sold.
The peak
since
was
the announcement.
5,000 early 2021.
Okay, so at the peak, it was $5K. And it's $650, and it hasn't gone lower.
Hang on, if one sold today, I'd imagine it'd be selling for like $900.
It'd probably go up already.
I would think.
So, but the question is, John, $650. Would you buy in for $650? Not $900, $650.
Right.
900 is a different story.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, $650 is the pre-trade price, so I think it's a no-brainer if you can somehow manage to find it for $650. Mm-hmm. But if we're talking about post-trade, I think like I mentioned before, I think Damian is a sell all the way. And
okay.
I think I'm with you, Clark. Dame's prime, like Dame time, was the years right leading up to COVID, and then the COVID year, the first COVID year. That was like prime Dame, hitting half court shots left, right, and center,
right.
Dropping 60 points a night, doing the buzzer beater step back on Paul George. Like that's what made Dame go to the moon. And then he settled because everyone knew, he's great, but he's not going to win ever unless he gets out of Portland. And now, unfortunately, I think he's a little bit past his prime. So I think number one, championship is going to do it. But at the same time, I truthfully don't even think a championship is going to absolutely rocket his card. I think Giannis is going to get a lot of that love. So unless Dame comes back to old form where he's shooting half court shots and he's dropping 11 threes a night with 65 points, he does something really incredibly special on a pretty larger sample size. I think that's where you're going to see Dame. So for me, I think this is the perfect storm, a perfect mix of hype preseason to sell on Dame cards if you have a Dame card. So if you happen to have that select card, I would imagine it is not selling for $650 today on eBay. It would go for more than that. So I would take advantage.
Yeah. The last sale was yesterday for $675. So you're probably right. It'll go up. I guess it's going to be a three-way split. I'm going to hold. I'm curious to see what it does, what Dame's market does. I'm not confident to buy at this price, even if it goes up a little bit. And, I could see at least early on a certain hype before the season starts where I would hold and then maybe sell if there's like a 10, 20% bump. So I'm going to hold. Okay, his new teammate, Giannis Antetokounmpo, his 2013 Prizm, the iconic 2013 Prizm rookie card, sold in June of this year for $13,627, PSA 10. All right, the silver, I'm assuming. It went for over 40K in February of 2022. The pop count is 80.
I'm gonna say hold. I think in general, Giannis is cheap. That specific card, probably not. Like the first card you mentioned with Damian Lillard is probably not his most desired card, right? With the select, I think there's opportunities with Giannis, like the select, for instance, that are great opportunities, right? So I think he's a hold because I think he's undervalued, to be honest. I think he's a beast, and he's a generational player that is just gonna, keep on getting better. He's won a championship now, and he has the supporting cast now, so it'll be interesting to see. He's still super young. This guy's the Juan Soto of freaking basketball, right? Like, at the end of the day, he still has a bright career, and I think his prices are really high on certain cards. Right. So that's the problem. Right. And some of his cards, like you said, they've retracted almost, 75%. Right. So even on a Prizm, you said it was a Refractor PSA 10.
Yep. Silver Prizm.
Yeah. That's like 5 figures, which I think is still high on a pop 80. But I mean, there's some cards I think that Giannis can be a buy. But right now on that particular card, I'm holding. I know that card's going to go back up.
Okay. John?
Yeah, this is tough. I feel like I'm gonna be on the same mindset as Dame, and I would say the hype surrounding the trade take some advantage of that, because Giannis is the type of player, I think now especially, he's kind of proven who he is. He's a winner. He's a beast. Everyone has their descriptions of who Giannis is, and yet his cards still don't move. He could drop 40, 20 rebounds, 9 blocks, 5 nights in a row, and his card may or may not see a 5% bump. Like, it's just kind of, it is what it is. He's going to be a big man type of asset and appeal. So I think you should take advantage of whatever 10, 20% bump that you're getting right now. And if you're big on Giannis long term, come back into it mid-season or whenever, right? And you want to make another run at it for the playoffs. I think there are chances. But Prizm Silver is a little different. 80 pop may not be readily available all the time, so who knows? But I feel like there's enough pop for you to get it back. So take advantage right now.
Okay. This is purely because I've been burned by silver Prizms. I'm selling, and I'm going to buy it. I'm going to use that money to buy an autographed Giannis rookie card, a cheaper one. And to your point, Hyung, like, some of his cards are just really expensive, and I think Silver Prizm is one of those cards. Right. That's still hanging on to, like, it's almost like a legacy value. Like, oh, remember those days when Silver Prizms were, the gold standard, so to speak.
His silver is more expensive than, like, colored numbered cards.
Well, it kind of is, though. Like, I would say the Silver Prizm is
because it's just so limited.
It's so limited, yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. The next two are from baseball. All right. Ronald Acuna, his 2017 Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto PSA 10. And I chose this card because obviously he's having not a breakout season, but MVP season, right? Beginning of the season, his PSA 10 autograph card sold for about $1,700. Most recent sale, almost double, $3,000. What are you doing?
Oh,
I'm selling at 3,000 plus, 3,500. I've seen that card go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and I think the true value of that card, regardless of MVP season, is way lower than that. I think should be $1,500 to $2,000. Like, I would say that would be even hyped if you look at, previous comps of similar players. But with that said, I think Acuna is special. He's doing some really special stuff, but obviously you're buying into the hype right now. So for me, the PSA 10 is a great card, but you could buy that in the offseason, the exact same card, even when he wins MVP. You buy that exact same card for probably $2,500 or even less, or maybe it doesn't go that low. What's the pop on that? Do you know?
133.
Yeah, it's gonna go lower. Like, I think it has to go lower based on all these paper-handed people that love to flip cards. So they're gonna need to be liquid. So there's gonna be too many PSA 10 Acunas on the market on the wrong time, which is a supply-demand thing, right? So for me, off-season is when you buy, in-season hype, especially now. And you never know. It might go to 4,000 because the Braves might win the World Series, right? Mm-hmm. But to me, it's like, hey, it's already up 75% of the future value. Cash out now, take your tendies and, go buying in the off-season.
Even with the 40-70 season,
It's impressive, man. I'm telling you, it's impressive.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is impressive. I'm not doubting all that, because that's special. Like, what he's doing, like what the whole Atlanta Braves, team is doing is special. So
they're an all-star team.
They're incredible.
All right, yeah, but and I hear your point, John. What are you doing?
I can understand, because I can understand wanting to buy or keep, because he's just so exciting. Like, come on, 40, 70, like he's a historical season. Mm-hmm. And Acuna has been a darling in the hobby for the last little while. Kind of fell off last year, but man, he's fully back now. And I think everyone's pretty excited. So I could understand hold. I could understand buy. But I'm with Hyung. Take advantage, man. If you bought it for $1,700, take that profit. Even if you're an Acuna fan, like, that's a card that you can easily get back. Again, could it go to 4,000 because of the playoffs and Acuna winning his first, real ring, not sitting on the sidelines? Yeah, it could happen. But, I think next, he's just set such a high bar, like next year he could come back, 33 homers, 60 bags.
Dump.
Like, amazing. Amazing.
He sucks.
And his card it will be stagnant, right? Because there's people will start having this expectation.
That's how baseball is.
Man, I think he can get to 50 home runs and 80 bags, or just something ridiculous, right? So I think this is again, the word historic. Like, it's a historic season. Take advantage, and come back into it later. If you're the biggest Acuna fan, come back later. And take it as a warning. Even a guy like Shohei, who had injury issues, and we all knew that that could be a chance that could happen. It happened, and his cards are going down. Acuna, big time injury issues, and at any point from now until the postseason, at any point next year, it could happen again. So I would take the money for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a sell sweep for me. I would take that $1,500 in profit and maybe spend $500 and bet it on the Braves to win the World Series. That's.
Ooh.
There you go. That's my...
or you get an HTA box of Bowman Chrome.
Oh, you know what? That's more fun.
And just go like Superfractor hunting.
Yep, I like that. Brilliant. Okay, Shohei Ohtani, his 2018 Bowman Chrome rookie auto, the pitching stance, his PSA 10 last sold in September 21st for $10,200. But in August, a month ago, it sold for $21,000.
Say that again. $21,000 for a what?
For this card last month.
The PSA 10?
Yeah, last month, $21K, and it sold last week for $10,000, half of that.
The base auto?
Yeah.
What's the pop on that?
What?
The pop count is 53.
So super low.
Base auto pitching sold for $21,000
in August. Yeah.
What?
I mean, come on, that was Shohei Mania, right? When everyone's FOMOing. Yeah, it's crazy.
What's it? I'm assuming no, but any sold recently after post injury?
That's what the 10,200 number I'm giving you, September 21.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so let me just give you some context. So
Okay.
Giannis Silver Prizm with Pop 80 count, non-auto, a Silver Prizm, PSA 10 sold for 12. You said, right, or somewhere around
13.
there. 13.
13.5. Yeah.
So we shouldn't be batting an eye that a Pop 53 Bowman Chrome auto, which is the card for Shohei, we shouldn't be too surprised that it gets to that point, because we're talking these guys. This is the guy in baseball. With that said, I still think it's really, really high. I want to say hold or sell at this point, especially if you're in with Ohtani. Let's just say you've bought in early and you have so much profits on the table. Take the profit and then maybe go buy another Shohei, on value based, and when the time is right? Like, I still think it's still high. So I think you could still take profits. He's not going to pitch next year. So you don't know how his market's going to be next year. The offseason is going to be soft. Right? And spring training could go both ways. It could be either the hype, or most likely it's kind of like, okay, Shohei's hitting, but if he doesn't hit, there's that. And that could happen in baseball. It could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Juan Soto does it every freaking year. He hits like 200 until July, and then he just goes off. Right? So it's like, and his price.
And Juan Soto's going off, by the way.
No, he's going off. And then look at his numbers. Everybody's like, oh, Juan Soto, he sucks. And then now it's like, you look at his numbers again. It's the same numbers,
Clockwork.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Career high.
So I think he's a hold / sell at this point.
Okay. And
now, what if you bought for $15K
You got to hold it.
and it's at $10K?
You got to hold
right
it.
now?
I'm not taking a $5,000 loss on Shohei. To me, it's like, leave it in there. Enjoy Shohei. It's Pop 53. Let the supply run dry, right? Or double down when the price is at 8K. Buy in so that you have two Shoheis at 11.
Yeah, cost basis. Okay,
Absolutely. Because to me, it's like the pop is so low, and we all know that Bowman Chrome card, it's impossible to get.
yeah.
It's even
it's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
you only see them like buy it nows, and they're like 18, 22,000.
Ridiculous.
And
Yeah.
you make an offer, and I mean, not like I've ever made an offer on something like that, but I'd imagine you get rejected.
All right.
Going anywhere near the last sold comp.
Yeah.
I get it.
To give you context, at the beginning of the season in March, you could have bought it for 8,500.
Okay. Okay.
So you're still up.
Yeah, I feel like it's a card that can go down to 65 to 8,500. I feel like it can and may go down back to that mark.
Yeah.
So people that are wanting to come in, like you and I, Clark, and maybe Hyung, it's probably good news for us. But I mean, if you're sitting on that card, most likely, I don't know, it was Grail, or it took you a while to land it, and some whatever. And if you're a little bit down on it, I think I'm with Hyung. I'm gonna say hold. Whether you're up or down, it's a big enough card. It's the base of the card that you want to collect. And the good news is the card, most, I mean, it's not a Bowman first, but most Bowman first for a lot of players, Acuna, you name it. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of BGSs. There's a huge amount of pop count, and for it to be 53, that's pretty low for a base auto. So yeah, I'm with Hyung. Even though I think it's going to come down a bit more, I'll still say hold. For those that have it and maybe lost a bit of money on it, I'm going to say hold.
Yep. I'm going to say hold because I've already been burned by Shohei when I sold. And then, our friend Daryl, DC, knows what he did with that card. So I'm holding. I learned my lesson once with Shohei. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing as well. All right, last one. It's kind of a half joke, but Travis Kelce, his 2013 Topps Chrome Refractor.
He's killing it.
PSA 10 sold for $300 earlier in the year. And then something happened. I don't know what happened, but it's gone up to $550 now, almost double.
Amazing.
Okay? It must have been his touchdown catch because
yeah, I guess he just plays football really well. But what are you doing with Kelce Topps Chrome Refractor rookie cards?
Man, it's a sell for me. Hey, this is one thing. We could take on all these cards we mentioned. There's always going to be a true value, right? A true value for that card. What is it actually worth compared to external fundamentals that play a factor in the emotional buying of people, right? So if you eliminate all those points that make a card go up or down, all the newsworthy stories, what's the true value of that? And that's, I think, essentially where I'm trying to find the true value and the good buys based on the true value. Forget all the fuzz and noise. Right. Would you pay that much, right? That's why it's like you buy on based on true value. If it's undervalued of the true value, then you make the purchase. If it's overvalued because of an external news article, then you sell it or whatever it may be, right, at that point. So for me, that's kind of like the whole basis of the way I view it, at least. So I'm seeing it the same way where, you know what, if I could take some profit there, I'd be happy to take it because he's just in the limelight right now, right? So
yeah,
I think Hyung nailed it. It's definitely a sale. It is an artificial, so to speak, bump. I mean, I in a completely different way, but it's kind of similar to like when Kaepernick took the knee and he was all over the news, and it wasn't necessarily his play, but his card skyrocketed from, during that little news phase, right? So news cycle. So I think you definitely take advantage, especially because it's not anything really to do with, I mean, Kelce he's an all-star. He plays great every year. Nothing's changed except this news moment, right? So I think you definitely take advantage. By the way, I think his jersey sales I heard are like number one right now. Yeah. Swifties it's going to become like a fashion statement in the next month or so.
Crazy.
I just saw the stat, 400% increase, the Fanatics reports. So yeah. I'm playing the odds. Taylor Swift has had a lot of past boyfriends. I'm sure Kelce might not be the last one. So he might have a song named after him in the future. I think I would be more willing.
Value?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to sell as well. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Let's end off this regular episode with our weekly Pick One segment. And Hyung, you usually start things off for us. Do you want to kick it off here too?
Let's do it. And we're not going to do a particular card this time. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna talk about Superfractors again. Okay. Since it's a Superfractor show.
Yeah.
So would you guys rather? And this is all first Bowman Chrome.
Okay.
Nothing else. We're not talking about Topps Chrome Superfractors. We're talking first Bowman Chrome, non-auto Superfractor.
Yeah.
Versus a red auto of that player. That same player.
It's easy
the
for me.
Non-Superfractor auto versus the red auto.
Red auto for sure. Oh yeah. That Superfractor would be cool. But I think again, the autos have come into the spotlight big time, and I don't think that's changing anytime soon. Baseball is all about autographs, and it's becoming more evident in the current state. So it's red auto all the way. I think Hyung, you're right. How you mentioned before, I think red autos, even in general, are because Superfractor is like a unicorn. Like sometimes you may not ever even see it appear. Someone might have it and just never sell it.
Yeah.
The red might appear. It might appear. So it's going to have market value. It's going to have, there's going to be a set price for it and a set sort of demand and expectation. So I think the red is like that perfect mix of super rare, but at the same time somewhat attainable. So red auto all the way.
Yeah, super easy for me. Red auto. Red's already so rare, and then I think the autograph makes it even more rare. So it's like a double rarity there for me. The question for me is, at what point do you take the Superfractor in terms of the compared to like you go down
So
orange,
auto.
green?
Let's just say orange. Would you guys do it orange?
Yeah,
because
orange.
I'll tell you. So you rather orange auto?
Yeah, keep going.
So
blue. I
in
take
2018,
blue.
in 2018,
Yeah.
in 2018, the consensus was between as low as a gold to an orange. So I thought with the news, a lot more people would like Superfractors. But on that poll, comparing it to an orange, right? People took the Superfractor over the orange for the most part. But it started.
I bet you. Yeah, I bet you it's changed to present day.
It changed a lot more. Sure. I think that was 2018. So that's why it was interesting to see that. I would also take the red auto. I don't think I would take the orange auto though.
Really?
I think it's somewhere between the orange auto and the red auto. Just I from a collector standpoint, I love Superfractors. I've actually at one point I had many Superfractors and I was like, this is stupid. Like there's no point of
So Shohei Ohtani pitching non-auto super, because let's just put out there like the players that we really want.
Yeah.
Super versus the orange auto.
Orange
Ohtani.
all day.
Well, he doesn't. Oh, you mean the Bowman Chrome batting Superfractor versus?
I guess batting. I didn't realize he doesn't have a pitching version.
I don't know, man. I would take that Bowman Chrome Superfractor.
Wow.
I think. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because for me, the rarity is what counts, right? Like the fact that nobody, unless there's a double print, then it's we've been hearing that a lot. So but yeah, I don't know. I think the collector in me likes the super. The dollar-wise, John's right. It's so hard to dictate price point on a super. You could do well. You could undervalue it extremely. And that's the whole point is you'll have a comp with your reds and oranges, right? But there's too many around, I think, at the point of an orange, right? So, and it all depends on player, obviously, right? So,
sure.
But in general, I think I'd rather... than an orange, I'd rather go Superfractor.
I feel like I think I'm there too. I thought it would be at first I was more like Clark thinking, oh yeah, orange for sure. Oh yeah, gold out of 50 for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. But if I
keep going, blue for sure.
No. When we think of like Victor Sturris, fine. Like the present day, it doesn't seem as sexy. But when you get into like the best of the best, like Shohei or Acuna or Soto, man, like the Superfractor of an iconic image or iconic card or iconic set, like their main rookie cards.
Like an Acuna first.
That's like that's a 1B Grail card, right? The 1A Grail is the auto, and then the 1B Grail is almost the Superfractor. Like some people could argue that card over the red. Like we all said red, or I think we're about to all say red. Yeah. But I get it. So I
did say red, yeah.
I think I'm with Hyung. I think I stop at orange. I'll take the Superfractor over the orange.
I guess I put a higher premium on the autograph than you guys do.
Maybe you do, yeah.
That might be the difference. But that's a good one. I like that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, John, you got one? Okay.
Yeah, mine is also kind of related to some of the stuff we talked about. So we're going to go Giannis.
Okay.
We talked about the silver PSA 10. Last sold for 13,600 pop of 80. Versus the other poster boy. We're going with Luka. Where is it? I thought I had it up. Luka Blue, Prizm Blue out of 199, PSA 10. Last sold for 12,600, pop 39. So right around 13,000 for each. Luka Blue out of 199 or Giannis Prizm Silver.
It's kind of easy for me.
Clark.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be easy.
It's Luka Blue. I'm a sucker for color match. I'm always looking at blue prisms, although I probably will never pull the trigger. But yeah, and I think Luka is just more marketable, to tell you the truth, in the NBA. So that's why I'm going Luka.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Luka too on this, just because I think the demand for Luka would be a lot higher. A lot more people entered the market knowing that Luka was the chase. Like Luka cards were untouchable, like for the whole time like the hobby existed, and just now it's finally like regular. Like Luka's just like
took a while.
It took a while. So it's like, I think we're on the dip regardless. I still believe in Luka's talent. I think obviously he's still young, but he still has a lot to learn, and the team needs to build, figure out a way to build around him. So it's just a matter of time, I think, because winners are winners, man. Like, he's a winner in my opinion. Yeah. So I'm going to go Luka.
And it's numbered 199.
And it's numbered. And it's blue. Color match.
And it's blue. Yeah. I thought I might be able to get you guys. I realized as it was coming out of my mouth that the Prizm Silver, I'm like, this is not strong enough.
What about blue disco?
Oh, that's a hard
blue
one.
Disco.
I like how we're all modifying each other's pick one.
Okay,
Where's the point? Where's that point?
I don't know what price that is, but let's say blue disco is like $8,000.
Are the discos numbered?
Yeah, they are.
I think it's $199 as well.
Okay, I'm going blue disco.
You're still going blue disco.
I don't like the bubbles, but it's numbered and it's color
I like
match.
the bubbles.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think in general, like, people might call us stupid because Giannis might be on his way to his second ring. Maybe a lot more than that. And Luka, who knows? I think we all here believe that he will, but really, who knows? Because it's difficult to win a championship. Mm-hmm. But still, like, Luka he's the poster boy, man. Like, he is the most, I think he's the most marketable player in the NBA right now. And I think he's got the game to back it up. It's blue, numbered, PSA 10. Yeah.
It's a layup.
It's a layup.
All right.
Sorry, Giannis fans.
Well, my pick one also involves Giannis. This is a Superfractor Giannis Milwaukee Bucks episode, so it's only fitting. I end off with a Giannis one as well. Okay. You have $84,000. This both sold for $84,000 exactly. In July, the 2013 Panini Prizm Giannis that John was just talking about, but the gold Prizm, which is numbered to 10, PSA 9 sold for $84,000. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
The gold Prizm of Giannis, his rookie, PSA 9, or the 2021-22 Panini Flawless Triple Logoman. Remember those? Of Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid, the three big men. Sold for $84,000 in August. So a month apart from each other. This year sold for $84,000 exactly.
Who was on it? Giannis on there?
Giannis, Jokic, Embiid.
Embiid, yeah.
Oh, Embiid.
That's pretty big players.
Yeah.
Literally.
Physically and literally. Yeah. Literally and figuratively.
What year was that?
2021-2022 season, yeah.
I'm going to go with the gold Giannis, man. I think, what year was the gold Giannis? 2012, right?
That's 2013.
2013?
And the Triple Logoman's also PSA 10. I don't know if I mentioned that, but the gold is PSA 9.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I don't think the grade really matters for me on the Triple Logoman, to be honest.
Which is a 1 of 1.
Yeah, which is a 1 of 1.
Yeah.
I just, maybe it's going in, but the Triple Logoman's such a brand itself, right? But it could also be a fad. For me, sure. I like the longevity. I like, I don't know. I'm not so sure on multiple players. Although you have the right people on it. But I think I'm still going to go with the gold out of 10. Okay. I just think that's a really big card that has continuous legs on it.
What about modification? A Giannis Logoman auto, like just Giannis with the two other guys.
if
I don't know how much it sells for.
If that was the case, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, is Panini making a 2021 version of that? You know what I mean?
They probably will.
And to me, it's like it's manufactured, right? So it's like it's manufactured value that it's not appealing to me. Whereas you can't go back to the past. 2013, like gold prism, like that's like rookie. super rare. Yeah, like super rare.
You know what would you say to like a LeBron Logoman auto or a Luka Logoman auto or a Kobe Logoman auto? Doesn't matter the year. Like that is.
I mean, that's the thing. They could just manufacture it and then just say, what if they manufacture another one and it's like a Michael Jordan Logoman auto in 2032? And then which one do you have? The one in 2027 or 2024? Right? There's only one Giannis Gold Prism. That's my thinking.
Well, there are 10 of them, so there's 10 years worth of Logoman that you have to compete with. Okay. So go back to the original question. I'm with Hyung. I like the gold. I like that it's Giannis by himself. I like that it's rookie card. Iconic image of Giannis. Like when you think of Giannis rookie card, that's the card you think of if you're in the hobby. So the gold version, I mean, it doesn't get any better. The triple Logoman is cool, and it certainly has the right mix of players. It's not like two really good guys and one
and then Keston Hira
bum. Yeah.
Well, you said it was a bum. I didn't call Keston Hira a bum. He raked in AAA, but that was you.
Yeah. I think he just won MVP of his team. But anyways, besides the point.
Only we know this. Anyway.
Us losers.
Yeah.
There is a bit of that fad for Logoman. Like, I think Logoman is just going to be popular throughout, but there was some significant hype that inflated the value in the last 18 months or so. So, I'm going with gold too. I think it's a little bit safer as well.
Okay. I'm going to go with the gold prism as well, just because, well, is Panini going to be able to produce Logoman after this? Like, I think that's an end of an era too, right? So it's not going to be a consistent thing for years to come. And they're like, oh, this is the 2021 version. It's going to end this year or next year possibly. And also, like, honestly, you know, sorry, Sixers fans, like, I think Embiid could devalue the card over the you know, next several years if he gets injured. Possible. Or, you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't win a championship, like, that's a risk with multiple people on a card. Any one of those guys can devalue it by, you know, if their career goes sideways. And not just Embiid. I mean, like,
and it's not no knock on Embiid. Like, look at the Kobe Gary Payton dual auto.
Right.
It's worth a lot less than Kobe, and Gary Payton's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And same goes with Jokic. Like, Jokic is an amazing player, but, you know, like, Jokic is also, you know, once he retires, he's not going to be part of the NBA at all. He's just going to hide in his, you know, in Serbia, or, you know, like, he's just not going to, you know, like, he's already off season. He's like the first person that left on the plane to go back home.
Yeah, crazy.
You know,
I love it.
So that's just who he is, right? That's fine. But in terms of like marketing, like, you know, I think Giannis is the only guy that's, you know, I could see, you know, carrying the torch for a while. So I might as well just go for the gold prism rookie of the player I like the most out of those three anyway. So Giannis it is. Okay, another great episode. Thanks to all our listeners for tuning in, and we'll have a brand new episode for you guys next Friday. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU@Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.